Welcome to the fastest stop in town. Today on Masechtas Nedarim Daf Samech. We are going to begin on Samech Amud Aleph by the new parak, new Mishnah. Kainam yain shenitayim hayom. A person makes a neder and says, "I'm not going to drink wine," and he says the word hayom, today. Now in this, the din is inu aser el ad shetachshach. It's only aser until sunset, and that's it. And the Rashi says, the mashma kolzman shu yoim, as long as it's day, v'sulo, not more than that. The Ran says, the kivani yomer hayom, well mashma el ad sheyigmar osa yom. It just means until the completion of that day. However, let's say a person instead would use the word Shabbos zu, that I'm making a net, I'm not going to drink this wine on Shabbos, for this whole week. And Rashi says, it's already Shabbos. Also b'chol Shabbos b'sheish shemei shvua. It says so. It's also b'chol Shabbos, the whole week, Sunday through Friday, and then v'Shabbos she'avra. The question is she'avra mentioned. So in other words, Shabbos also is counted. Shabbos she'avra. So Rashi says Shabbos shu oimid ba. The Shabbos actually you're standing on now. L'hachi karei she'avra in the past. Lefisha Shabbos zeh enu mischashiv acher yomim haboyim el acher sheshish yomim she'avru. So chodesh zeh, let's say a person says, and again, if you look again, Ran says b'yom Shabbos atzma b'chlal. Okay, and then it says chodesh zeh also b'chol chodesh. Let's say a person says, I'm not going to drink wine this month, and in this situation, Rashi says that he's standing on Rosh Chodesh. So also b'chol chodesh, he's not allowed to drink wine that entire month, all 30 days ahead. Rosh Chodesh lahaba, as well as the Rosh Chodesh, the upcoming Rosh Chodesh. Shana zu, I'm not going to drink wine all year. Also b'chol Shana, so obviously you can't drink wine that year. Rosh Hashanah also lavo, as well as Rosh Hashanah, which is the start of the new year. Shavua zeh. So it says I'm going to make I'm going to say I'm not allowed to drink wine for the period of 7 years. So also b'chol shavua, it's also the entire Shemitah cycle. V'shmiyah shavra, as well, Shemitah is also included. V'im oimer yom echad, but that's all this is up until, it's not me'es l'es. But if you said instead, v'im oimer yom echad, Shabbos achas, chodesh echad, shana achas, shavua echad, so if you said it that way, asmi yom l'yoyim. So the din is me'es l'es. So wherever you're standing, so then it's going to be usher for that entire period of time. And the Rosh explains this. He says, Im oimid be'emsa hayoyim. Let's say you're in the middle of the day. Yom echad. One day, usher ad l'machar, kes hazos. So let's say it's 3 in the afternoon on Tuesday, so it's going to be until 3 in the afternoon on Wednesday. That's the push-up shot of reading the Rosh. Not everyone reads it this way. V'chein im oimid b'ches b'chodesh. Let's say it's the 8th day of the month. V'omer chodesh olai aser ad ches l'chodesh haba. So it's going to be aser until the 8th day of the next month. V'chein b'shana, v'chein b'shmita. Fine. So then the Mishnah is brought down other places in Shas. A person says ad Pesach, not until Pesach. Pesach have to have arbikosos. So aser ad sheyagia, until Pesach reaches. Ad sheyehei, so aser ad sheyetze. That language asers even Pesach itself. And if you said ad lefnei Pesach, if you use that language, we have a machlokus. Rabbi Meir omer aser ad sheyagia, Rabbi Yossi omer aser ad sheyetze. There's a machlokus. What that language of lifnei means, is it referring to before Pesach or is it mean after Pesach? Okay, so let's see the Gemara. So our Mishnah mentioned, again, person makes a neder against drinking wine. So we said, since you said hayom, so it's only usher that day, and then at nighttime, it's mutter, and you should be able to drink wine immediately at night without having to do anything. But in this, Rabbi Yirmiyah says, not so fast. When it gets dark, you actually need to go to a chacham. Otherwise, the neder will continue me'es l'es. Even though, as we said, it's not me'es l'es, but that's only in a situation where you did not go to where you went to a sheil's chacham. But if you didn't go to Shelos Chacham, then it's still going to work Me'es L'Eis. So, well, why? That's not what you meant. That's not the language. So my time is Rabbi Yosef Gezer Hayom Mishum Yom Echad, says the Ran. Afagav de Medina, according to the law, Ki Omer Hayom, when you say today, the truth is Mutter L'Shetechshach. You should automatically be Mutter without Shelos Chacham. Ki Damrinan B'Masnisen, that's what the Mishnah said. If you'll Hacham Midurabanan Sar She'ela. Midurabanan, because we're concerned, because these languages are so close, a person may make a mistake and think that the din, also when it comes to the Sefer of our Mishnah, if a person says Yom Echad, so you would think that means also only until the nighttime. But it's not true. That language would be Me'es L'Eis, so therefore we just require in all circumstances to make sure that no one makes a mistake. As we continue to Samach Amud Beis. Amrulei, so they said back to him, okay, so you're making this Gezerah, so Yihachi Ligzer B'Yom Echa Mishum Hayoim. Why don't we also make a Gezerah when you say B'Yom Echad because of Hayom? In other words, why do we stop Me'es L'Eis in the middle of the day? Says the Ran, D'i Sharis La Le L'Shetechshach Below Sheila, if you don't make the this is already part of the answer, that a person does not matter once it's dark, below Sheila, without a Sheila, Asi L'Mitoi, Nami B'Yom Echad. A person could also make a mistake when he says Yom Echad. Shehi Mutter L'Shetechshach. You would think it's mutter also when it's nighttime. So Amalei Hayom B'Yom Echad Mechalef. Yom Echad B'Hayom Lo Mechalef. When it comes to saying Hayom and Yom Echad, that's very confusing. They're very close to one another. And therefore, because of that, we say, also when you said Hayom, the din is that we will require Me'es L'Eis, Midrabanan, unless you did Shelos Chacham. Says the Ran, Ki Amar Yom Echad Amad B'Isur Me'es L'Eis. But Yom Echad, one second, Yom Echad Mehayoim, but the other way around, Lo Mechalef. Why? Because Ki Amar Yom Echad, once you said Yom Echad, which is Me'es L'Eis, Amad B'Isur Me'es L'Eis, Hilkach Lo Mechalef Le Mishrei, Ki Amar Hayom Kodem Shetechshach. You're not going to end up mattering it before the dark. So Amar Ravina, Amar Li Meremer, Hachi Amar Avuch Meshmid Rav Yosef. Kaman also Shemate the Rav Yirmi Barabba Krab Nasan. The son Rav Nasan Omer Kol Neider Kilu Bana Bama V'Kaima Kilu Makar Karb Makar Aleha. So what's being said over here? Actually, there's a lot of Ran over here. Let's go to the Ran first, and then we'll go back to what we just read. So Mashin Nagu Achsham B'Tainis Yachid. A person makes a fast for themselves. Deloy Havi Ela Masafra Biad Panya. The din is it only takes place from the morning and sunrise until sunset. The fil hachi l'shetechshach. Once it gets dark, shari label sheila. We immediately say you're allowed to eat. V'lo gazrin mishum yom echad. We don't make a gzera there. Maybe we should make a gzera also when it comes to a tanis yachid. So haini mishum shadavar yadua. Everyone knows shadino shel tainis kachu. Everyone knows that a fast, when you make a tainis yachid, is from sunrise to sunset. And it's not also like a neder, which we already said that you really, again, you shouldn't have made. So lo asilachlufe, you're not going to confuse a tainis yachid b'noidi yom echad shadini tainis nedarim chalukinhein. The dinim are so different, so one's not going to make we're not going to be concerned. Oh, you're going to get confused. Oh, by tainis yachid we're lenient. Everyone knows that's the din, and no one's going to think that the din is the same thing when it comes to nedarim, because they're two totally separate things. And then he quotes the Rashba. V'isi v'lo Rashba kan mashlo nira be'enai shehu zal kosev dahainu taima de gazrinon b'hayoyim. The reason why we're geyser mishum shemixas osayom huterlo midchilaso, because part of the day was actually permissible from the onset. So b'yom yom echad kivan dedamin lahadadi aslachufe avotainis de mitzer midchilas hayoyim. Here the whole day is aser lodamu yom echad. So Yom Echad, so you're saying at 2 in the afternoon. So it's not comparable to a Tainis Yachid where the whole day is Aser, as opposed to here you're only Asering from 2 in the afternoon on. So according to the Rashba, this is how he explains why it's not an issue. So let's look at question 9. Ma tam the Tainis Yachid shari mishatechshach. Why do we allow Tainis Yachid once it's dark? And we're not geyser, and we don't require She'elos Chacham over there because of the Gzer of Yom Echad. So the Ran says because the dinim of Tainis and Nedarim are totally separate, a person's not going to make that mistake. And the Rashba says because the Isser of a Tainis starts from the morning, it's not comparable to this person who made a neder in the middle of the day, in which only in the middle of the day is the Isser. Everything before that is mutter, so they're clearly not comparable to one another. So now let's look at this Ran. Kaman Azla, Kaloimer, Demai Dematzrechinan Le She'el Chacham. That which we said, that when a person says Hayom, that you need to ask a Chacham, Ba'omer Hayoim, Lav Mishum Gezerah Bilchud. It's not just because of the Gezerah of Shema Michlaf. The Svirul and Deloshchiach Kuli Hai Lachlufe. Because perhaps the fact that you'll make this exchange, you make this mistake, is not so common. So, Mishum Gezerah Bilchud Nachmer Ber Mihu Kivan Dechi Nadar Lav Shapra of it. When you made a neder, you did the wrong thing. Kirav Nasan, as we said, because like you build a bama. Nehi De'iloy Havi Shaykh Lemigzer Klal, if you wouldn't have a Gezerah Lo Machmirin in the Leil Cheshel, then we would not need She'elos Chacham, even though you made a neder which you shouldn't have done, if there's no issue of Shema Chlufe. Because if that's true, based on the reason of Rav Nosson, if Rav Nosson is the whole reason standing by itself, then every single neder will require She'elos Chacham, even if it has an expiration date. But it's specifically over here, there's an issue of requiring a She'elos Chacham. It must be because it's not just because it's a neder, which every neder you shouldn't have made. Apparently, maybe there's a type of neder you could make that you shouldn't get out of. But mihu, hey, so according to this, you actually need two. You need a mistake, and also because of Rav Nosson. Mihu kol heicha d'shaycha migzer klal machrinale umekansinale hilkach. Im hoye neder mitzvah. Very interesting. What if the neder was a mitzvah? So going lilmo, you don't want to learn Torah or kind mitzvah. Enosar she'ela. According to this, you would not need She'elos Chacham, because the only time you need She'elos Chacham is only when it's comparable to Rav Nosson. It's like you build a bama. But if you're doing it a neder for a mitzvah, so that's a good thing. So in that situation, it's not just making a neder against eating fruit. There's no mitzvah to not eat fruit, but there's a mitzvah to learn Torah. So according to this, the point is, who is the state? Who is this that you need both to require She'elos Chacham? So the nafka mina is, if, as we said, it's l'davar mitzvah. So maybe here it's different, and you would not need She'elos Chacham because you're not geyser out Rav Nosson. Okay, so that is a very interesting nafka mina, which is brought down over here in the Ran. Okay. Let's see if there's any more questions over here before we get ahead of ourselves. Okay, no questions for TA on this stuff. This one is actually, it looks like it's going to be the Mishnah, which we'll review at the end. Okay. All right, so that'll be their last. Cool. We're going to do one more question. Or maybe two more questions. Okay, so let's continue. Up to the two dots. Shabbos zu, also b'chol shana kula. Shabbos kula. So if you say this Shabbos, it's also the entire week. Pshita, why not? Of course. So manatema yoime de shabta kaimer. Maybe it's talking about the weekdays. Kamash mon, it's even including Shabbos. Chodesh ze also b'chol hachodesh, Rosh Chodesh, Rosh Chodesh l'haba. So pshita, of course, it's the whole month. So ki yitzrach l'chodesh chaser. The chodesh is, let's say it's a 29-day month. Ma'adatema Rosh Chodesh l'sha'avar havi v'lo litzer kamash mon kari inshi reish yarcha. They still call the 30th day Reish Yarcha. So therefore that will be aser too. Shana zu aser b'chol shana kula. So yiboilhu. Oimer kainim yain shani tayim yom my dine. So you didn't say hayom, which our Mishnah says beferish, it's achetechshach. Instead you said yom. Kayoim is now the same as kayoim, and therefore it's achetechshach. O kiyoim echad, and therefore it's aser meisel ace. So Tashma, what is the din of yom? Masnisin kainim yain shani tayim hayoim. So over there we said the language of hayoim inu aser el achetechshach. What's the diak? Hayoim kiyom echadami. So we said, okay, that's not a raya because the sefer you could say the other way around. Imaseva oimer yom echad aser miyom yoim. It's aser me'es le'es. So hayoim kahayoim dami el mahaleko mashmina. Again, the ratio of the sefer, there's no way you can learn out a diak from each other because each one contradicts each other. So Amar Rabashi Tashma kainim yam shani tayim hashana. So focusing on the requirement that I'm not going to drink wine for a year. So nisavra hashana. And let's say we're dealing with a 13th month. There's actually an other sheni, aser ba ubi bura. So the chiddush is that not only is it aser, but also the next month. So the Ran says kamash malan to mitzer b'sholosh esrei. That's actually asering the 13th as well. Now, Hechidam, what exactly is this case? As we continue to Samach Aleph Amud Aleph. Ilema Kediktani, if it's just Posh the way it's written, says Rashi, Pshita, Kivandi Oimer Hashana, when she said a year, Mashma Hashana Zu Kaimer Bibur Nami B'chal Havi. So Adar Sheni is in that year. So why would you not include Adar Sheni? Lemula Memra. So that shouldn't be what it's talking about. It's not much of a Chiddush. El Olav Diarmer Shana. All you said is the word shana. You didn't say hashana, you said shana. Alma, shana, kahashana dami. So yoim, nami ka yoim dine, so maybe we'll just compare shana to hashana. So to yom will have the same din as hayom. Hayom, which is achetechshach, also yom is achetechshach. So lo, oyom de oimer hashana. Really you said hashana. So then what's the chiddush? Obviously, it should include other shenius. So, Madatema, halachacha royev hashanim. Go after the majority of the years. V'lo isbahu ibor that don't have an extra month. Kamash malan. So the din is no. We're still going to include the 13th month. So if we look in the Ran, so most years the leis behen ibor v'lei medafala di omer hashana lo litzer ella karoiv shanim should only be also like most years, but not other sheni. Le'inyan halacha, says the Ran. Kivan deba'ayin hu if shita, when it comes to yom, it's a question was not answered. Natin l'chomer. So we're going to go strict if you made that. The yom ki yom echadam be aser me'es l'eis. So it's going to be aser me'es l'eis. Question 10. Ha'imid Rosh Hashanah ba'omer kainim yain shani tayim shana o kainim yain shani tayim shana achas ha'im neser bi'ibor hashana. So if you say shana, so it's considered to be just like saying yom, and that's an iboidal ibshita. Again, we go machmer. But if you say shana achas, then lo mitzer, it's not going to aser ibura. Okay, fine. And now let's conclude with question TB6. In the middle of the week. V'neder l'Shabbos zu. When you say this week, him yom Shabbos b'chlal. So is the day of Shabbos in that category? And I'd like to say the answer is yes. So I want to make sure. So v'neder l'Shabbos zu him Shabbos b'chlal. That's the question. So the answer. Do I have the answer over here? Oh, here it is. So, Shabbos and Shemitah are in the klal. However, Rosh Chodesh and Rosh Hashanah ain't in the klal. So let's see what I wrote over here. Another applies also next Shabbos. I wrote by Chodesh, it applies to next Rosh Chodesh, which is not true. Rosh Chodesh and Rosh Hashanah are not b'chlal. Only Shabbos and Shemitah are b'chlal. Adkan.